Thank you, Mackenzie, for your introduction and your hard work to get this event together today. I would like to welcome everyone and thank you for being here. Today's webinar will be focused on our commercial and industrial customers and large customer energy costs. In a continued effort to provide information important to our customers, we are pleased to let you know we are now pre-recording our semi-annual energy cost outlooks. The presentation will be available at alliantenergy.com/Iowa rates early next week and will be posted until our next webinar in June or July of 2022. I also want to share that we held a webinar yesterday for our community leaders focused on residential and small business customers. Now let's take a look at our agenda. We will spend a few minutes today providing an update on the solar and storage renewable energy filing. We will then share an update on natural gas prices and then move to the 2022 forecast for natural gas costs. Next, we will review the forecast for 2022 electric costs and end it with resources available to customers. If you have any questions today, please type the question in the chat feature. There will not be an immediate response to the question asked today. We will collect all questions in the chat and post the question and answer along with the presentation. This information will be posted in the next week or so, depending on the number of questions. This will ensure people who are not able to attend the webinar have access to the questions asked today. You may also reach out to your key account manager or the Business Resource Center if you have questions. Let's get started with an update on our renewable energy. In November, Alliant Energy filed an advanced rate-making application, or RPU, with the Iowa Utilities Board detailing our plans for adding the first portion of our planned 400 megawatts of solar energy generation along with battery energy storage. We finalized agreements with NextEra Energy Resources, who was the owner-operator of the Duane Arnold Energy Center in Lynn County, to acquire 200 megawatts of solar and 75 megawatts of utility-scale battery energy storage around the former Duane Arnold site. NextEra Energy Resources is a proven and experienced developer of renewable energy resources in Iowa and globally. In fact, NextEra is the leading developer of solar paired with storage in both megawatt capacity and the number of projects in the United States. Alliant Energy continues to evaluate projects around Iowa that would make up the remaining 200 megawatts of solar identified in the application and our clean energy blueprint. The benefits of the solar and battery project investment include continuing to execute our clean energy blueprint to reduce dependency on fossil fuels. Also avoids long-term costs associated with fossil fuel plants. This would include fuel costs and operating costs. The solar and battery storage at the Duane Arnold site will have minimal interconnection costs by using the existing generator interconnection agreement for the Duane Arnold Energy Center. And finally, the project will also help the local economies through increased tax base and local construction jobs. Now let's take a look at natural gas prices. In November, the news headlines were forecasting significant increases in gas prices this winter over last year. We are still seeing forecasted gas prices higher than early last winter, but they have come down slightly from the early November forecasts. November was mild and not a strong demand month. This allowed for an increase in inventory, with inventories of gas getting closer to the 5-year average. We have to keep in mind natural gas prices can be volatile due to extreme weather. The February 2021 cold weather is an example of how quickly natural gas prices can change. What is Alliant Energy doing with higher natural gas prices? As a part of our cost management strategy, Alliant utilizes gas storage and hedging as a way to help ensure adequate gas supplies at a cost-effective price for our customers. The objectives of the strategy are to reliably meet customer peak day demand. We have to ensure that the gas is available on the peak use day. Also, we want to stabilize and minimize natural gas supply costs for all of our customers. We also want to limit exposure to potential price spikes. Again, remember that polar vortex in February of 2021 and the impact that had on natural gas prices throughout the country. We want to take advantage of weak natural gas pricing when it's available. And finally, we want to lower customer costs by optimizing Alliant's supply portfolio. Now let's transition to the large general service gas costs. Keep in mind the information here is based on averages, and actual usage can vary significantly from one customer to another. I also want to take the opportunity to remind everyone this is an average cost over the course of a full year, and individual months will vary. Recent headlines have been projecting 2022 gas bills will be substantially higher. As a reminder, in 2021, gas prices increased significantly due to the extreme cold weather that hit the nation's midsection in February of 2021. You can see in the graph the gas cost increase in 2021 driven by the extreme event that took place in February. Alliant Energy's hedging and storage practices did help shield customers from the spike others saw in gas costs. We know that some utilities have had to pass on significant increases in monthly bills to repay the cost of natural gas cost spikes during the week of the extremely cold weather. While the forecast for natural gas costs is still high compared to recent years, we are forecasting a slight decrease in 2022 when compared to 2021. It is important to remind everyone that gas prices can be volatile and they can be significantly impacted by outside factors such as extreme weather. Now let's shift to electric costs. As a refresher, here's a list of each of the individual items on a customer's electric bill. If you'd like to take a closer look later, these details are available at alliantenergy.com/Iowa rates. The first two items, the basic service charge and the usage costs, are items adjusted only via a rate review filed with the Iowa Utilities Board. The next several items on the list, starting with the energy adjustment charge and continuing through the demand response cost recovery, are riders and adjust based on the costs and benefits that each rider covers. We'll take a closer look at a few of those in just a moment. Finally, the local option tax or franchise fee is under the control of the city government for each individual city. Communities with a local option sales tax are at 1%. Communities with a franchise fee charge between 1 and 5% as allowed by state law. These fees are collected by Alliant Energy and returned to the local government agency or agencies that have put them in place. It's helpful to understand how much each of the line items on the previous slide impact your overall bill, so these pie charts will break that down for you. There is differences between each of the classes. As a reminder, the usage charge, or gold part of the circle, is set as part of the rate review process and will only change through a filing with the Iowa Utility Board. This component will not change from 2021 to 2022. Next, if we look at the energy adjustment charge, shown in gray, the regional transmission service charge, which is shown in yellow, and the renewable energy rider in light blue, these factors will change in 2022. We will talk about the energy adjustment charge on the next slide. The Regional Transmission Service Charge, or RTS, will be increasing in 2022. This is driven by higher costs from the transmission service provider. The Renewable Energy Rider, or RER, will also be increasing in 2022. As previously noted, the local option tax or franchise fee is under the control of the city government for each individual city. These graphs, as well as the graphs for other customers, are all on the alliantenergy.com/Iowa rates page for your further review. Now, let's look into the Energy Adjustment Charge, or EAC, line in your bill. The EAC tracks the cost of fuel to produce power and the cost of energy purchased for our customers. Any rate case recovery charges are also part of this line item, and the EAC is also used on occasion to flow other benefits through to customers. From the previous slide, we see the EAC is a large component of your overall bill. This chart shows the trend line for the EAC since January of 2020. We saw the EAC charge drop in 2020 into 2021. The decrease in EAC was driven by the tax benefit rider. That rider quickly returned the benefits of lower taxes for our company back to our customers. Simply put, when our taxes are lower, our costs are lower, and the tax benefit rider is how we passed on the savings to you. The TBR, as we call it for short, was agreed to in the last rate review, and this credit occurred between July 2020 and June 2021. You'll see that at the end of the rider, the EAC does go up, in part due to seasonal costs, but also because of the end of the TBR. Another factor for lower EAC was the Duane Arnold nuclear power plant retiring earlier than planned when damage occurred at the plant in August 2020. The payments for power purchased from the plant ended when it retired. The cost of that power had been included in our EAC up to its closure, so when we stopped paying for the Duane Arnold power, the EAC saw another drop. A third reason for lower energy adjustment costs are the investments we've made in wind power, including 3 facilities owned and operated by Alliant Energy that came online in 2020. Wind has no fuel costs and eliminates the need for fuel for our plants or purchase power from other plants. So additional wind generation at the farms we own offers another long-term benefit to the EAC and will over the life of the wind farms. Looking forward, the forecast will still have peaks and valleys between summer and winter, but overall we are forecasting the EAC costs in 2022 to be lower than they were prior to the tax benefit rider. To summarize the 2022 forecast changes for electric customers, first, there will not be a change in base rates. Again, those costs will only change if a rate review is filed with the Iowa Utilities Board. The costs forecasted to increase in 2022 when compared to 2021 consist of the Energy Adjustment Clause, the Renewable Energy Rider, and the Regional Transmission Service Charge. The Renewable Energy Rider will be higher in 2022 due to an undercollection in 2021. The undercollection in 2021 will be recovered in the updated RER tariff rates. The Regional Transmission Service Charge, or RTS, will be increasing based on a higher forecast for the transmission costs. Additionally, 2021 includes a credit from a MISO refund that was reflected in June of 2021. We will have an additional MISO refund credit in 2022, but it is expected to be less than the credit that was given in 2021. I do want to note ITC Midwest, our transmission provider, did file with FERC a request to change depreciation rates. Alliant did file a motion to intervene and protest the change in depreciation rates, but on December 3rd, 2021, FERC approved the proposed change in depreciation rates for ITC Midwest. The change in transmission depreciation rates is not included in the forecast numbers presented today. The approval of the change in depreciation rates will increase the RTS further in 2022. Based on the changes in the 2022 forecast, let's take a look at large general service electric costs. First of all, it is important to note that we've assumed a customer's usage is the same each year, 2018 through 2022. This doesn't happen often, but using that assumption allows us to show a better comparison of costs year over year. This graph uses actuals for 2018 through late 2021 and offers a forecast for 2022. Also, the graph represents monthly averages, and actual usage varies significantly from one business customer to another. The electric cost trend reflects an increase in the forecast for 2022. Consistent with the message from our July 2021 customer webinar, the drivers of the forecasted increase are the energy adjustment clause. Again, the EAC is driven by the lower costs in 2020 and 2021 from the tax benefit rider. Second, the regional transmission service charge, which will be increasing in 2022. This is due to higher transmission costs. And last, the forecasted increase from the renewable energy rider. This is due to under-collecting for this in 2021 and adjusting for that under-collection in 2022. As we look at high load factor electric costs, I want to again note the graph represents monthly averages and actual usage varies from one business customer to another, and it can be significant. You can see 2021 is reflecting the lowest average cost over the period shown 2018 through 2022 forecast in the graph. As previously stated, the drivers for the 2022 forecasted increases are the energy adjustment clause, the regional transmission service charge, and the renewable energy rider. From the pie chart discussed on a previous slide, the EAC, RTS, and RER account for over 60% of the average high load factor customer bill. I would also like to point out that the average bill number displayed may be less useful for this rate class because the usages can vary greatly. In summary, the look at 2022 bill forecast for our customers is consistent with what was shared in July. Our goal with these webinars is to offer our cost outlook based on what we know today. For the 2022 electric cost outlook, what we know is no base rate review has been filed this year, so usage costs will remain constant in 2022. We have implemented strong cost controls to allow us to continue investing in distribution system assets without asking for increased rates. For the energy adjustment clause, the end of the DAEC payments and the new wind generation will help bring down the EAC from past levels, but the end of the tax benefit rider, which was a part of the EAC this past year, will send EAC costs higher next year when compared to this year. The other larger factor in customer bills next year is an expected increase in the regional transmission service charge. It is important to note in December, FERC approved a change in depreciation rates for ITC Midwest. That forecasted higher cost for the recent FERC ruling is not reflected in our regional transmission service forecast. The renewable energy rider will increase in 2022 due to the undercollection as stated previously in 2021. Finally, our energy efficiency cost recovery and demand response cost recovery inputs for 2022 forecast will remain similar to 2021. As noted earlier, a factor that is driven at your local level is the franchise fee, which, if implemented or adjusted, could change overall costs at the community level. We've worked very hard to keep our base rates and service costs stable, and significant work has been done to reduce the energy adjustment charge, with the tax benefits ending and with higher transmission costs and an increase in the renewable energy rider. We do expect customer costs overall to be higher in 2022. Let's take a look at some energy efficiency opportunities that can help reduce energy consumption and manage costs. Listed here are some of the programs available through Alliant Energy. Please note that some of these programs do have restrictions or require pre-approval, so be sure to contact your key account manager or the Business Resource Center prior to the start of any project. We will be happy to discuss the programs in greater detail and get you started. As a reminder also, EnergyEdge is a valuable tool available through My Account. Once you are in My Account, look for the button that will take you to the EnergyEdge. Our automated metering technology powers the system with significant amounts of data. You will want to take the 5 minutes necessary to build the facility profile in EnergyEdge. If you do, it unlocks an extremely powerful feature of the system, providing customized energy efficiency and electrification recommendations specific to your own facility. It will even highlight potential savings in energy and dollars to help you prioritize your capital spend. The system offers bill cost and energy usage comparisons. Within days, your hourly usage data is available to you. The system also provides a way to compare usage with one of the larger drivers in seasonal energy changes, the weather. Again, you simply need to sign up to My Account to receive both services, My Account and EnergyEdge, for your business. Based on meter types, most, but not all meters are providing data into EnergyEdge, but more are coming, and your key account manager can update you on your specific meter type. I would like to summarize the pending changes. First, the RER is included in the forecast and is pending approval. The most recent transmission forecast information is included in the 2022 forecast, with the exception of the recent December 3rd, 2021 FERC approval of change in depreciation rates for ITC Midwest. Rate case expense adjustments as a result of the conclusion of the IPL electric subsequent proceedings are not included in the forecast information. Consistent with past practice, the EAC will be updated monthly. I will note that any remaining residual from the tax benefit rider will flow through the EAC pending board approval. Last, the additional MISO ROE refund is included in the 2022 forecast information and is pending board approval. Please note, updates and further information can be found on these items at the website on the bottom of the slide. I would like to remind everyone to post your question in the chat function. Again, this is to ensure people who are not able to attend today will still have access to the information. We will then post the question and answer along with the presentation to our website. Also shown here are other ways to reach out to Alliant with questions. I would like to thank everyone for their time today and look forward to your attendance at future webinars. This concludes the webinar. Thank you.